Before we really dive into each thing that this chapter focuses on, I just kind of want to give you an overview of the chapter. So chapter 3 of this article focuses on the status of professional learning in the United States. And there's 8 points that this chapter takes an in-depth look at. So I'm going to kind of list every point that we're going to touch on and just give you a brief description of each point so you know kind of what to look forward to as we continue this book club on. So the first point the article makes is that most U.S. teachers participate in some form of professional development every year. So on this slide, we're going to see that although they all participate in some professional development, it usually happens in the form of a workshop or a training that is not very in-depth, and that not all of the opportunities provided are of good quality. The second point we're going to talk about is that much professional development focuses on academic subject matter, but not with much depth. So this second point is going to kind of bring to light that the professional development in the United States does not go in depth enough to be effective, and teachers do not spend enough hours learning. The third point we're going to talk about is that nearly half of all U.S. teachers are dissatisfied with their opportunities for professional development. So this point is going to hit on that most teachers feel that the professional development offered is of low quality or does not fit their needs. The fourth thing that you guys are going to learn about throughout this presentation is that U.S. teachers tend to receive little funding or other support that might allow them to participate in additional professional development. So this really just talks about how schools and government have provided little funding or support to teachers to attend further professional development events. So if teachers do really want to go the extra mile, they're often not supported to do so. And they're often left to their own devices to figure out how to fit professional development into their schedule and pay for it. The fifth point that this chapter hits on is that support for and participation in professional development varies widely among schools. So there's no consistency between schools or districts when it comes to how much support teachers receive for professional development. So in some states or districts or schools, teachers receive a lot more support than others, which really just isn't fair. The sixth point this chapter hits on is that relatively few U.S. teachers engage in intensive professional collaboration around curriculum planning. So this point looks at that when teachers do engage in a collaboration, it's rarely around curriculum planning, and it usually has to do with other things. The seventh point we're going to talk about is that beginning teachers are increasingly likely to experience induction programs, but they have varying access to mentoring and other high-quality induction features. So, point 7 really goes into the fact that while there has been an increase in new teacher induction programs, these programs do not always mean that the teachers are receiving high-quality mentoring. There's no guarantee that the mentor you're going to receive in this program or the courses you're going to attend are very high quality. And then the last point this chapter talks about is that data suggests less emphasis on close teacher-to-teacher collaboration than on other forms of professional development. And the main point that this section kind of talks about is that it has been found that teachers have a lack of influence over school decisions, which is not good for teacher morale. So that's kind of a brief overview about the 8 points that we're going to hit on throughout this book club presentation. We hope that you enjoy listening.